What's up guys, Jerome here. I am actually doing a speed test tonight on the Nexus 6 versus the Moto X Pure Edition. I've had this Nexus 6 for a while. I actually just sold it tonight and I need to send it out tomorrow. So before I do that, I wanted to try to do a speed test. Now, I've never done one of these before. I have like the tripod sitting in a weird way, so hopefully I can still do the speed test correctly. But before I go over how I'm going to do it, what I ended up doing is I reset both phones to factory stock. So both of them are on original factory stock settings. There's no SIM card on either one. They are both on Android 5.1.1, so they're on the newest version of Android. And I did install some apps on there just so we could all of us could take a look and see how the speed test goes. Typically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to click on both apps at the same time. There's probably going to be a margin of error for human error, so if one app opens like a millisecond quicker than the other, I mean, you can either take that how you see it, or you can count it off as a little human error. So we're just gonna see how this goes. Now, just to kind of reiterate, the Nexus 6 was the 2014 Motorola Nexus 6. It was released over a year ago, I think now. But it still has really great specs. It's running a Snapdragon 805. It has 3 gigs of RAM. I think an Adreno 420 GPU. It's still very high-end specs compared to the 2015 Moto X Pure Edition that's running a Snapdragon 808, 3 gigs of RAM. They're pretty comparable. So, let's just start it off. So how I wanted to do it first is, I'll go into that as soon as I start, but I want to see what boots up quicker. So right now, both of these are completely off. I'm going to try to boot them at the same time. Google goes first, Motorola second, or Nexus first, Motorola second. And the Moto X always does that vibrating thing. I always loved Motorola's boot animation. I think, they do a really good job at that. So, I have a feeling the Motorola is gonna, because it's almost done with the animation. And there we go. So it looks like the Moto X came up first as far as booting up, and it looks like the Nexus is coming up now. So we got both here. Remember, neither of them have a SIM card in it. They were both recently set to factory stock settings. So like a completely brand new phone. I did install some apps in it. I tried to put some games on here. I don't really game, but somebody actually on one of my comments mentioned Dungeon Hunter 5. And it's almost a 2 gig game, so I downloaded that just to see if there's a long boot up. So actually these games, Candy Crush, Dungeon Hunter 5, Sonic Dash. Oh, I thought I had another game. Well, anyway, so these 3 games I haven't even opened. I haven't even touched it. These other apps like Calendar and Instagram or whatever, I made a sign in, or I had gone through the settings so you don't see those quick settings or whatever. It just goes straight into the app. Things like Spotify, Pandora, I didn't log into it at all. I just want to see what boots up first. So we'll start. So I probably moved that camera. Hopefully that's set up right. Okay, so hold on. You know what? Let me double check. Yep, see, I moved it. I put a piece of tape there so I know I wouldn't go too far. All right. So calendar. Calendar is the first thing I want to do. So I'm gonna try to do this at the same time. The Nexus 6 is a really big phone, so it's kind of hard for me to just maneuver, and I'm doing this at an angle for the camera. So it looks like the Nexus 6 came up first. Again, that could be just margin of error by me. Um, and then this next one is Candy Crush. I think it's Candy Crush Soda Saga or something. I came up first on the Moto X. I mean, that was clearly obvious. Okay, so next is this Dungeon Hunter 5. Is that, whatever screen that is. I don't know if that's probably not going to mess it up. So installing 12% 13. It looks like the Motorola, I keep saying Motorola. They're both Motorola. It looks like the Moto X is ahead by a little bit. They're about even, pretty much. Oh, the Nexus is ahead. It's already at 100%. It says connecting. I'll install Google Play Games. I didn't install that, so. But it looks like the Nexus came up first. Okay, I have Instagram here. That looks just about the same time. Netflix, and actually, when I went through both of these apps, I noticed something different on both. So this came up first on the Moto X, and this takes a little longer on the Nexus 6, but I did notice that the interface is a little different. I don't know if it's because this is a 6-inch screen, but you see how they have like different subsections here. This one has like a full thing. Now, I don't know if that makes a difference or not. I really am not sure, but just pointing that out. So, but the Netflix app did come up first on the Moto X. Okay, so I have Pandora. It looks like it came up like a second or half a second quicker on the Nexus. Okay, so Play Movies. Looks like it was just a little faster on the Moto X. Play Store. Looks like about the same time, maybe a tad quicker on the Nexus, but that could just be margin of error there. Settings, just a regular settings app. It looks almost the same. Snapchat. I think that was the same. I really didn't even catch that. And I have here Sonic Dash, and I've never opened this app, so we'll see how this goes. Looks like the Moto X is ahead by half a sec or so. There we go. Oh, it says loading still. Doing this update. Well, I mean, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it looks like the Moto got it first. Or the Moto X. Oh, okay. And advertisements or whatever. Alright. Spotify. Looks like it came up first on the Moto X. And YouTube. First on the Nexus 6. Okay, so what I have to, I wanted to open the Chrome app. It looks like a little faster on the Nexus. But what I did is I actually put favorites on here. So, I actually haven't even opened any of these favorites. I just added them in. So I want to see what loads up first. So nothing has been like cached or whatever. We'll just see what comes up first. So I have Motorola's website first. Looks like it came up first on the Moto X. Hold on here. Trying to remember how to just get right back to the favorites. Nexus, the Google Nexus page. I mean, that looked very similar. I really didn't catch that, so you guys might have to check that out. And then here I have just like a Yahoo News. I was just trying to find a news page. And it looks like the Moto X came up first, but just by a little bit. And then last, I have The Verge. And it looks like the Moto X got that first. So, okay. And then the last thing I wanted to put was just the camera app. They both use different camera software. Google has its own and Motorola has its own version. But let's see. So that's already up. And that just came up. Because this just opens up the app really quick. So the Moto got that one. So I think that's it. Oh, you know what? The last thing I want to do is just turn off both phones and see which turns off first. I know that probably doesn't matter much, but hey, it's a good way to end it. So here we go. Alright, looks like the Moto X turned off first. Nexus is still going. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it looks like the Nexus 6 can still hold its own even after a year later. So it looks like it can probably go another year or so, or maybe even a little longer as far as performance goes. So that should be it, guys. Let me know what you think. All right, take it easy. Till the next one.